Hey, big guy. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You were born to swim hundreds of kilometers in the wild, chasing seals and hanging out with your pod. But nope, humans had a better idea. They grabbed you when you were just a baby, threw you into a concrete bathtub, and called it a home. Oh, and they gave you a stage name, like you were some kind of aquatic rock star. Except your concerts involve jumping through hoops and splashing kids in the front row. And every time you smiled for a fish treat, they clapped like you just solved world peace. Meanwhile, nobody noticed that you were slowly losing your mind in that chlorinated prison. Yeah, welcome to the glamorous life of a captive killer whale. So there you were, little and clueless, swimming next to your mom. Then one day, the ocean went from, peaceful, to run in about 3 seconds. Boats surrounded you, nets dropped in, and suddenly, you were caught like some oversized goldfish. You cried for your pod, but all you got was the sound of engines and humans shouting orders. They hauled you out of the water, your skin drying in the air, your heart pounding. And you kept looking back, thinking your mom would come save you. But she never did. Not because she didn't want to, but because she couldn't. Next thing you know, you're in a tank smaller than the patch of ocean you used to nap in. And here's the kicker. They expect you to bond with them. Sure, because nothing says friendship like kidnapping and lifelong imprisonment. So, big guy, they gave you a new address, SeaWorld. Sounds fancy, right? Like some kind of luxury resort for marine life. Spoiler alert, it's not. Your new home was a giant swimming pool filled with chlorinated water and constant screaming tourists. The ocean? Forget it. Your pod? Gone. Privacy? Ha! You now shared your space with strangers. Others stressed out orcas, who also wanted to kill something most days. The trainers smiled, patted your head, and taught you tricks. They made you wave, spin, and leap in the air, all for dead fish like it was some kind of Michelin star meal. Meanwhile, you were chewing through depression and boredom like they were your new diet. And let's be honest, you didn't just get famous for your tricks. No, you had a record, a history. You'd already been involved in an incident up in Canada. And by incident, I mean someone died. But did that scare SeaWorld? Nope. They saw dollar signs, not danger signs. Congratulations. You were now both a headline act and a ticking time bomb. February 24th, 2010. The stands were full, the sun was out, and the crowd was ready for some family-friendly killer whale fun. You swam out like a pro, flipping your tail and making kids squeal with joy. Up on the platform was Dawn Brancheau, your trainer, your partner in the show, the one who fed you, talked to you, and trusted you. Maybe a little too much. Everything was going according to the script. Wave here, splash there, leap out of the water for dramatic effect. But then, something in your brain said enough. Maybe it was years of confinement. Maybe it was boredom. Maybe it was just you being who you really are. You grabbed Dawn, not in the "aw, I missed you" kind of way. More like, "you're not leaving this pool" kind of way. The crowd laughed at first. They thought it was part of the show. But the splashes got bigger, the movements sharper, and suddenly everyone realized they were watching something they were never meant to see. The water churned white, trainers screamed, whistles blew, but you didn't let go. For once, you weren't the performer. You were the predator. When they finally pulled Dawn's body from the water, the pool was silent. No cheering, no clapping, just shock. The crowd was rushed out, trainers were crying, and you were just circling, calm as the ocean on a windless day. And then the headlines hit. Killer whale kills trainer. No kidding. Like the killer in your name was just for decoration before this. Reporters treated it like some shocking betrayal, as if you'd been their smiling pool buddy and suddenly turned into a monster. But here's the thing. You didn't snap. You'd been snapping for years, quietly, in a concrete box, swimming in endless circles. They called you unpredictable, dangerous, unstable. But what did they expect? That a top predator would turn into a polite goldfish after decades of captivity? The truth is, you weren't a show animal that went wrong. You were a wild animal that was never meant to be in a show. But of course, that truth doesn't sell tickets. After Dawn's death, they didn't put you back in the wild. No, that would have been too logical. Instead, you went right back into the same tank, the same walls, the same circles. For the public, you became a headline, a cautionary tale, a scary story parents told their kids. See, that's why you don't mess with killer whales. But behind the scenes, you were still performing. Not in the big shows anymore. No, you were too dangerous for that. But in smaller training sessions, away from the cheering crowds. Years passed. Your massive body slowed down. Your skin looked tired, your fins collapsed, and your eyes told the whole story. You weren't the monster they painted you to be. You were the prisoner they created. In 2013, the documentary Blackfish came out, and suddenly, the world saw you for what you were. Not a rogue killer, but a victim of human greed. People protested, boycotted, and SeaWorld's ticket sales sank like a rock. They promised to stop breeding orcas, to never capture another from the wild. It sounded noble, but for you, it was too late. On January 6th, 2017, you died in that same tank. 34 years old, a long life for a captive orca, but nothing compared to the 50 or 60 years you might have had in the wild. They said it was bacterial pneumonia, but maybe it was just the slow suffocation of a life unlived. And here's the irony, big guy. Even in death, they used you. Your story sold tickets, sold documentaries, sold outrage. And somewhere out there, in the open ocean, your wild cousins are still swimming free, unaware that humans once tried to turn you into a circus act. So rest now. You were never meant to be a performer. You were meant to be a legend of the ocean. And in a way, you still are.